بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا ومولانا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا محمد. This is lesson 6b, the divine metric. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك الحمد لله الذي أحيانا بعدما أماتنا وإليه النشور. The morning dhikr is powerful because it becomes a reminder of God throughout the day. A reminder to abstain from what the angels would find offensive, let alone people. A reminder to stay away from sin and satanic influences. A reminder to do good and be good. A way of beginning the process of alignment. What is the essence of dhikr? It is a reminder. If it doesn't remind you, then it's not dhikr. وَكُلَّمَا كَانَتِ التَّوْبَةُ أَصْدَقَ كَانَ الذِّكْرُ أَجَلَّ. One of the names of the Quran is al-dhikr. Where does Allah refer to it with this name and in what context? In Surah An-Nahl, in describing the role of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in relation to the Quran itself. وَأَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الذِّكْرَ لِتُبَيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ مَا نُزِّلَ إِلَيْهِمْ وَلَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. And we have sent down unto you, O Muhammad, the reminder, the dhikr, that you may explain clearly to humankind what is sent down to them, and that they may give thought. This is the Tarbawi tafsir. Now, we've discussed prophetic alignment, angelic alignment. There is one more. Human alignment. In the Tarbawi tafsir, we delineate the spectrum of the Adamic Quranic address. The human being was created upon the fitrah, a pure, healthy state. The fitrah foundation logo is the lotus flower, symbolic of this pristine potential. However, the Adamic can either degenerate into the satanic or elevate to the prophetic. That means that opposing all the ways of Satan is the first step to human health, to well-being, to afiyah. And that is why the recitation of the Quran begins with seeking refuge in God from Satan. But Satan's greatest victories are not in luring people to individual sin, for how easily repentance can foil his plots, and how strong is the faith in the heart of the believers who never despair of the mercy of their Lord. Rather, Satan's most despicable tactic is to distort our human alignment, to deconstruct the fitri connections that God placed in us for our own health, to create rifts in families, to strip us of the support systems that fortify our immunity against him, to decouple the fitrah and sharia. At Fitrah Foundation, providing immunity is one of our main goals. So, let's explore the antibody, the anti-satanic body. In the 1940s, Renee Spitz studied infants in orphanages and found that those deprived of physical touch and emotional care suffered severe developmental delays, a condition he termed anaclitic depression. Despite adequate nutrition and medical care, these babies showed stunted physical growth, emotional and cognitive delays, and even higher mortality rates. Touch is among the elemental needs of human beings. Loving touch can play a significant role in emotional well-being and relationship dynamics, and thus its absence is often a contributing factor in depression, anxiety, and relationship conflicts. Children need a parent's touch, girls and boys. Spouses need a spouse's touch, men and women. What else can we do while reciting the salawat that will increase its benefit 1,000,000-fold? Embrace your child. Recite salawat. Cuddle with your spouse. Recite salawat. Touch your lips to the forehead. Your daughter or wife, your son, or husband, recite salawat. Hold their hand, or place their hand on your heart, or vice versa. Recite salawat. Slow down, be gentle, recite salawat. Every time one of my children would come to me upset, I would hug them, place my hand on their back in alignment with their heart, and recite salawat, knowing that even I, as their mother, who loves them more than anything, is not more merciful to them than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In July 2023, Scientific American published an article exploring how brain activity aligns when individuals engage in social interactions. This phenomenon, called interbrain synchrony, is believed to enhance communication and social bonding. The research highlights the significance of social connections in human cognition, suggesting that our brains are fundamentally wired to connect with others. No kidding. Otherwise known as the fitra, or human alignment. When we combine the calming, healing effect of the salawat with the synchronizing effect of loving touch, we learn to manifest that mercy on our limbs with the people who deserve it most, our family. The most basic manifestation of mercy is the fulfillment of needs. If you don't fulfill your own needs, you have not been merciful to yourself. If you do not fulfill the needs of your family, you have not been merciful to them. If you don't even care to understand their needs, you are remiss in your shari'i duties. If you know their needs and withhold them intentionally, you are sinful in the sight of God and will be responsible for the satanic energy you introduce into your home. If you know that you don't even have the ability to fulfill the needs of a family, the sacred law says you're not allowed to marry in the first place. Why? Because you can't fulfill needs. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Show mercy to those on earth, that the one in the heavens may show mercy to you." الراحمون يرحمهم الرحمن ارحموا من في الأرض يرحمكم من في السماء. حديث الرحمة المسلسل بالأولية. O Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa ala alihi wasallam, if you wish to attract the mercy of God to this Ummah, to all the world, perhaps we ought to begin with those people who need us more than anyone and anything else, right now, right here, not as a tokenary act of resistance, but a commitment to new priorities. The foundation of the Sharia is the preservation of the fitra. The haqiqah of the Sharia is mercy. This is the first maxim of metafiqh. Change requires a prophetic heart. Change requires a prophetic mind. The two mirrors must align: tasawwuf and tafaqquh, fitra and sharia. Be the change your Prophet wants to see in your own home. There is something I used to do with my children when they were very young that holds such sweet memories for us all. My little ones would stand or sit next to me quietly while I pray. So after I would finish, I put him or her in my lap, take their little hand, and count my after prayer tasbih on their little fingers. Subhanallah 33, Alhamdulillah 33, Allahu Akbar 33, and in some reports 34. The idea was to create an association between loving touch, physical affection, a safe embrace, and the glorification of God. The objective was to simultaneously strengthen the parental bond and the divine bond in such a way that fortifies both fitra and sharia. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Surah Al-Isra. And your Lord has decreed that you worship none but Him, and that you be dutiful to your parents. In this verse, God makes an association between the divine bond and the parental bond to show that the Sharia and the Fitrah go hand in hand. The only relationships that can establish an association between the divine and the human are those in which a physical and spiritual connection resides: the parental relationship, the spousal relationship, fitrah and sharia. The parent holds a biological place in the life of a child, while the child holds a shari'i place in the life of the parent. Fitrah and sharia. When the child matures and the parent grows old, this relationship reverses. The parent will now hold the shari'i place in the life of the child. What does the rest of the verse say? إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِندَكَ الْكِبَرَ أَحَدُهُمَا أَوْ كِلَاهُمَا فَلَا تَقُل لَّهُمَا أُفٍّ وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا وَقُل لَّهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. If one or both of them attain old age in your lifetime, say not to them a word of disrespect, nor shout at them, but address them in terms of honor. And the child now will hold the biological place in the life of the parent. Does not God liken old age to a return to childhood? وَمِنكُم مَّن يُرَدُّ إِلَى أَرْذَلِ الْعُمُرِ لِكَيْ لَا يَعْلَمَ بَعْدَ عِلْمٍ شَيْئًا. Surah An-Nahl. Imam al-Tabari says it means he returns to a state of ignorance as he was in childhood. And that is why the verses culminate in God's words, وَاخْفِضْ لَهُمَا جَنَاحَ الذُّلِّ مِنَ الرَّحْمَةِ وَقُلْ رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا كَمَا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا. Fitrah and Sharia. Rahmah. This is the Tarbawi tafsir. Now, some years later, I came to know that this is called the anchoring technique, developed in the 1970s as part of neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, involving creating an association between a stimulus and a specific emotional state to intentionally trigger emotions like calm or happiness. But psychology didn't teach me that. Rasulullah did, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Do you know what we call the 33 tasbih of Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, and Allahu Akbar? It is called the Fatimi tasbih, because we learned it from the best parent and the best child. Rasulullah taught it to his daughter, Lady Fatima. على نبينا وآل بيت النبوة أفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم وفهم يؤتاه أحد منا أهل البيت. Do you know why I left medicine? Before choosing Islamic scholarship as my life path, I was considering pediatrics. I left medicine because I knew that I had a choice between trying to heal the ill children of others versus building the health of my own. God did not make me responsible for the former, but He did make me responsible for the latter. Psychology didn't teach me that. The Sharia did. Science observes the disease after the fact. Religion precludes the problem before it even begins. Children do not care about how much money you make. They don't care about your degrees, your distinctions, your dissertations. They don't care in the least about your social media following. All they care about is you. The only message your child gets from anything that takes you away from them and prevents you from fulfilling their needs is that those other things were more important. And so, they will grow up one day and believe exactly what you taught them, that since they held no esteem in your heart, they hold no esteem in their own. Words don't heal actions. Only actions can heal actions. And so they will repeat the cycle, searching for anything to validate and affirm themselves, to give them worldly worth, anything to soothe the gaping hole in their soul. And yet, no matter how much they accumulate of ego esteem, it doesn't feed into their soul esteem. And because they were not shown what love truly is, they will seek it in the wrong places, with the wrong people, in the wrong ways. All this because they could not find proper human alignment. And so, because they are lacking a concrete association between the meaning of mercy and the form of mercy, even their ability to find divine alignment, prophetic alignment, will be impaired. The Sharia is the bridge between meanings and forms. This might be you, either the parent who did it to their child or the child to whom it was done. So if you're feeling like the consistent message around you is that you're not enough, if you're feeling like no one cares, if you're feeling like the world is merciless, if you're feeling like you're nothing but the sum total of your content creation, maybe it's because your soul wasn't created to align with material things in the first place. Maybe it's because it was created to find human alignment. Maybe it's because there's a child out there who needed to align with you and you didn't show up. Maybe it's because instead of being an adult parent, you're still just a child giving birth to your own trauma. It's called intergenerational. Metafiqh takes a very detailed look into spiritual intergenerational dynamics. Where can you find mercy in a world where children are being destroyed? Physical destruction, spiritual destruction, the annihilation of our children is the sign of the decoupling of the fitrah and the sharia. Where can you find mercy in a world where women, mothers, aren't safe, neither physically nor spiritually? The harming and dishonoring of women is the sign of the decoupling of the fitrah and sharia. If the elemental aspects of our humanity are denied, our fitrah, the parts of us that were designed to align with the human, I swear by God, no one can heal that wound but the one who loves you more than your own mother. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. The Sahaba experienced many forms of trauma, some very severe, both before and after prophethood. Yet the effect of the prophetic healing was so profound that they used to say, بِأَبِي وَأُمِّي أَنْتَ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. May my mother and father be ransomed for you, O Messenger of God. Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. O Ummah of Muhammad, don't align with your disease. Don't aid your enemy against you. O Ummah of Muhammad, align with your cure. Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam could hear the complaints of animals that were mistreated and denied their basic needs. Do you think that he does not hear your complaints? Maybe the reason people need to pay a psychologist for attention is because the attention and care they were entitled to in the Sharia was denied. Maybe the reason people need to pay a stranger for touch therapy or body work is because the touch that they were entitled to in the Sharia was denied. Your therapist is a paid professional. The Sharia is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. Science observes the disease after the fact. Religion precludes the problem before it even begins. How? Through the divine metric. It takes tasawwuf and tafaqquh to measure what is impaired and repair it. At best, all that psychology can do is mitigate symptoms. It can never remove the underlying cause. And if we, as a community, continue to do no more than soothe symptoms without removing the primary pathology, we have doomed our future generations to relive the same symptoms over and over again. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the most magnificent cycle breaker in history, a man who single-handedly transformed a lawless society that used to bury their girls alive to a community of believers that sought God through the beautiful rearing of their daughters. Subhanallah. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa alih. Yes, psychology may help dig out whatever remains of a girl buried in dirt, but it is the Sharia that stops that father from ever doing it again. And it is the Sharia that rears a new generation of healthy children that will never need a therapist a day in their lives. The outward calamities of the Ummah mirror its inward calamities. O Ummah of Muhammad, don't align with your disease, align with your cure. Sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. What two fields did Imam al-Ghazali merge in the Ihya? Was it tasawwuf and psychology? Or was it tasawwuf and tafaqquh? Simple math. What's the missing factor? Without a prophetic mind, yes indeed, mental illness will most certainly be the result. When we tamper with the divine metric, the calibration of the whole world will be off. Imam al-Ghazali revived this ummah by reinstating the divine metric, because alignment cannot occur without a metric. Rahimahullahu ta'ala. The sea is about to part, my friends. We will now begin 2 new series. You can probably guess what they are, not because you had a good teacher or anything. The prophetic heart, the prophetic mind. We will make both as crystal clear as water, so that when they are reunited, their towering waves will crash down on the head of Pharaoh and his army. وَالنَّجْمِ إِذَا هَوَى مَا ضَلَّ صَاحِبُكُمْ وَمَا غَوَى وَمَا يَنطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَى إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَى عَلَّمَهُ شَدِيدُ الْقُوَى ذُو مِرَّةٍ فَاسْتَوَى وَهُوَ بِالْأُفُقِ الْأَعْلَى. The beginning verses of Surah An-Najm go on to speak of the night journey and ascension. Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj is the basis of the first principle of the Tarbawi tafsir, muwajaha. So the next time you gaze at the night sky, make sure to seek out the Muhammadan constellation. Allahumma amnun alayna بصفاء المعرفة وهب لنا تصحيح المعاملة فيما بيننا وبينك على الكتاب والسنة وارزقنا صدق التوكل عليك وحسن الظن بك وامنن علينا بكل ما يقربنا إليك مقرونا بعوافي الدارين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وآله نور الأنوار وسر الأسرار وترياق الأغيار ومفتاح باب اليسار سيدنا محمد المختار وعلى آله الأطهار وأصحابه الأخيار عدد نعم الله وإفضاله والحمد لله رب العالمين.